Hi, this is Pete from Amplify. I'm here with Jacob Kenny from Legacy Alive.
How's it going?
Hello, right, how are you?
Oh, pretty well. It's the last couple of days before the big day, so yeah, stress levels are up there, but I was also excited. So
Because we've got something pretty awesome coming up this weekend. We've got the Perth Rocks Festival.
that's right, there is.
And
Yeah, 18 bands, two stages at the Port Beach Brewery, featuring Ragdoll and some visitors from over in Victoria, which are called Warbirds, and a massive host of great bands all from around town. Yeah, it's a great day. It's probably a highlight of the rock and roll calendar for sure. So looking
absolutely,
forward to it.
yeah, because last year's event was absolutely fantastic. Because well, we had 25 bands across two stages, just went on all day. Uh,
Yeah, it did. That was
headline end of fashion, and this year
yeah.
Ragdoll headlining. Is that right?
Yes, yes, that's right. Yeah, last year was enormous and a little bit smaller this year than last year. Just the undertaking of that was extremely ambitious, but fortunately it was a success. But this year I decided to keep the stress levels a little bit more reasonable. So
I think
yeah, just
anybody talking to you on the day last year could see that hunted look in your eyes.
yes, yeah, it was a little bit like that.
So with an event like Perth Rocks, I mean, how much effort goes on behind the scenes? Because you're trying to coordinate 18 bands to get together.
Hmm.
Yeah.
A
Just
lot.
managing the whole event, I mean, obviously it's highly stressful. Um, where do you begin?
So picking a lineup is where you've kind of got to begin, I suppose. I mean, securing a date even before then. So I fortunately have good relations with a lot of venues around town, and particularly the Port Beach is one that I think suits the festival. So securing a date that would be suitable that doesn't clash with anything. So there's lots of research onto who's doing what, and when the grand final is going to be, and when the real show is going to be, and stuff like that to make sure you don't kind of cross the streams and you have a nice, clean, clear weekend. So a lot of effort goes into picking a date, and after that, it's picking the bands. And we had 100 applicants this year, which was enormous, and that was in 4 days of opening applications. I had to shut them because I said, "Oh, I'll run the applications for 2 weeks," and after 4 days, there were 100 in my inbox, so I called it. Uh, but so yeah, it's that from there. It's just making sure that everything's very clearly coordinated. Bands know exactly what to expect from the moment they get a letter of offer, and that way there's nobody waiting to figure out where they're playing or who's going to be where or what conditions they're going to be presented with. It's all up front. So yeah, just being really organised. I think before you even pull the trigger on announcing a band is the way to kind of keep yourself sane.
And you got some of the best bands from Perth playing, haven't you?
Absolutely, yeah, we do. Um, there's so many to discuss there, but we've got Silent D's, which are a great band. They've done a Perth Rocks quite a long time ago. Illyria, which are a metal band, they've been smashing lots of really cool supports. Legacy Alive, we're in it. Amber Down, Code Red, Dakira, Night on Stroke, Spinning Jacks, Heaven Alone, OJ Belgravia, Jam Art, Phantom Misfits, Refeeder. I think that's everyone. I think
You
I've got
realize if you
everyone
missed
there.
anyone, they're going to be after you.
Yeah. I always get into trouble here. It's like, tell us who's on it. And I really need to write it down. And when somebody asked me last year who was on it, I said 28 bands, just 28. And into fashion.
So, if you're going to recommend somebody getting there to see one particular band, I'm putting you on right on the spot here because this is a really unfair question. Who would you recommend besides Legacy Alive?
That's a good question. I reckon you would definitely gonna have your money's worth if you're there to see Warbirds and Ragdoll, just as a standard. If there was nobody else on this gig and it was just Warbirds and Ragdoll, I think it'd be worth the money that you're spending. We don't get to see Warbirds because they rarely come over west, so you may as well see them while they're here. They're a really good band and Ragdoll. There's no rock and roll party in Perth without Ragdoll. Let's be honest. So
Absolutely.
yeah, those would be my two big picks. I think.
All right. So just very quickly, it's a Port Beach Brewery this coming Sunday, which is the 14th.
is the 15th.
15th. Sorry, I can't get my dates right. So 15th, Sunday the 15th.
Mm-hmm. Starting from about 12:30, and it will finish at 10 o'clock. So it'll be thank you and good night from 10 o'clock. So you can easily get the train home, get yourself into bed and go to work and not be too hungover, hopefully. Or you can take Monday off, which I highly suggest.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sunday's hard, but also we've got a huge day. We can wrap it up at 10. Yeah, it's more than doable, even if you've got to be up at 6 the next morning. So
Yeah. So for anyone who's been a little bit tardy and haven't got their tickets yet, what are the details? Where do they go?
you can get the Oztix. So Oztix, you can just go Oztix in Google and type in Perth Rocks. It will come up. If you're just doom scrolling on Facebook or Instagram or anything like that, just go to the Perth Rocks page, and then you'll be able to access the links through there. But yeah, your fastest method is just to jump straight onto Oztix and write in Perth Rocks, and it will come up. You can grab your ticket,
Yep.
and you can be ready to go. They will be available at the door, so
Yep.
you can pay pass your way in. But we always encourage that you buy it beforehand, and who knows, it might sell out between now and Sunday, and then you could miss out. You never know.
You
So
don't want to miss this one. You don't want to miss this one.
you don't.
Well, I'll be there from before 12:30, so I'll catch up with you then. Looking forward
That's
to it. It'll be a
fantastic.
great day. Now, what time's Legacy on?
We are on at 5:10, so pretty much in the middle, just as the sun's starting to go down, not quite in the sunset set, but yeah, just in the middle there. Um, and I think it's a really nice time to play. Last year I had us quite late, and I spent most of the festival, trying not to socialize too much so I didn't blow my voice up because I had to sing and do so many things. This year I thought, like, get it out of the way, and then I can just enjoy the rest of the day. So yeah, Legacy will be on at 5:10 between Code Red and Amber Down on the outside stage, and it will be laid up with Band of Misfits and I'm pretty sure Belgravia.
Right, fantastic.
Mm.
So talking of Legacy, you
Mm.
released a single.
Yes,
Yeah,
Messenger.
I listened earlier today. Absolutely bloody brilliant.
Well, thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah.
You got a video to go with it as well. I've got to admit, I'm really tardy and I haven't seen the video myself yet, just clips.
Mm.
But who directed that for you?
So that was Mark Lennon from Amber Down. So he's kind of put himself into business doing videos most recently because the band were kind of coordinating their own little music videos for a while. And he's kind of developed a bit of a talent for that. And he really wants to branch out and start a brand doing that. So I said, hey, would you do us? And he said yes. So Jeremy Young, the bass player from Down, also came down and shot it, and Mark did all the editing and kind of directed it. And I just gave him a very loose brief, very very loose brief. I said dark, bit moody. I want it to be a little bit intense, maybe like a little bit trapped, that kind of thing. And then when we showed up on the day, he said, "Right, you get in the chair, I'm tying you up. You guys get over there, I'm putting duct tape over your mouths." Like he had a vision, and he said, "Just trust me." And it came out really, really well. I was so impressed, and I think he enjoyed having the artistic freedom just to play with it, and it's exactly what we wanted.
Fantastic. As I've listened to the track several times, but I haven't actually had a chance to sit down and watch the video from beginning to end. But from what I've seen, it was absolutely bloody brilliant.
Yeah, he did a wonderful job. So I was so pleased, and yeah, it suited the song. Yeah, the whole album really is a little bit more dark. It's a little bit more somber, whereas previous Legacy stuff's been a little bit more joyous. So this is not quite as a joyous of an album. It's got a couple of songs on there that are a little bit more upbeat, but yeah, I think it's suited exactly what we were looking for.
Fantastic. Look, for people that don't know you and don't know music, give us a little bit of a history of the band. Where are you from? What was your, because I know you got a bit of musical legacy yourself. Uh,
Yes. So we formed in 2006 under the name Legacy of Supremacy, and we were that for a very long time. And we rebadged in 2019 because we had a fresh look in the band. We were writing new music, different music, and we wanted to try to re-identify a little bit, I suppose, and that really worked. We like I said, I've been playing music for 31 years, and and I'm not that old, believe it or not. So yeah, I've been playing since I was a child. My dad is a career musician, and he had his time in the '80s in original bands and pub bands and things like that. So yeah, I picked it up because of him and continued doing it, and he's still doing his thing too. Yeah, which is really cool. It's kind of hard to avoid it when
But
it
I
was in the
have been
house as
seeing
you
him
grew
play.
up.
Yeah, he's got a hell of a talent there.
Yeah, he's one of those people that you can tell that that's what he does for his life. You know, when you meet somebody who is a carpenter and they do it at home for fun, they do it for work, and they have that attention to detail. My dad is that, but the guitar, that instrument, there's more hours on that instrument than pretty much anything else, I think.
Fantastic. Um, so you've had a couple of other singles out in the last couple of years. Are these all off the new album or?
Yeah, so Unbreakable was the first one. We put that out, I think it was around the Perth Rocks last year. Then we had Ready, and then towards the very end of last year, we had Rolling Sixes.
Yeah.
A couple months ago, we had Hate Me, and now we've got Messenger.
Okay.
So they're all off the new album, those ones.
Yeah.
And we've probably got another two that we'll put out, and that will announce the full album. Uh, we've kind of we finished it, but we're shockers for kind of getting something to a finished product and then rushing it out after that because we want to get rolling. And Curtis, my co-guitarist and co-founder of the band, said to me, "Let's just get it done and give us some time to listen to it and do all the things that later on we say, oh, I wish I did that." Have the opportunity to do that. And I'm so glad that that's kind of where we're at because there have been so many other things we've added. Even on Messenger, at the very end, there's a lyric which is repeated from Ready
Yeah.
in like a falsetto choir thing. That wasn't on it, and it was one of those. We should put that on there. So easy to jump in and go and do it. But when you have those thoughts, as long as you've got those thoughts before it's out, you can do it. So yeah, we're still just kind of adding those little bits, and once we're completely happy, we'll announce it. And I imagine if all goes to plan, we'll get it out for very early next year. If I can swing what I'm hoping to do, we'll link it in and announce it and release it around Fringe Festival time. So
Nice, nice. So are we going to have a few live dates to support it?
um, yeah, I suppose so. Like, I mean, I'm going to keep it all pretty under wraps at the moment.
Okay,
So
all right. I'm digging
yeah,
too
yeah,
deep, am I?
yeah.
The No, I mean, so the main times are, whenever I've seen you guys on stage, you're absolutely rocking it.
Mm.
Um, yeah. So you're obviously a natural standing up there. I mean, how does it feel to play live? I mean, what gives you the buzz? What's the best thing about being live?
I really like it when I have a moment with the guys. So we often on stage we sometimes try to make each other laugh, but just with things that we do musically. So I'll try to do a lick, I'll try to do something, or Frank will try to do something a little bit clever. And if he can get a reaction out of all of us while we're in the middle of trying to put it on, like put on the show, then he's done his job and I've done my job. So we try to do like little off book things as we play and try to get a rise out of one another. And sometimes when you do one and it is so good and you just nail it and you look over and you see someone who's like almost laughing, going, that was nuts. That's the best part for me. Yeah. And you can do that in front of hundreds of people. You can do that in front of 10 people. Doesn't matter.
Okay. So over the last couple of years, what would you say is one of the best gigs you played?
Oh, wow, that's quite a hard one. I want to say that Perth Rocks last year was very, very good. Um, I wouldn't say that was probably the best gig that I played, as in like my performance on the night. I've performed better gigs than that one, but the atmosphere of that one was very good. Um, it's kind of hard. We did a show at Convenience a couple of years ago before it closed, and that might have been one of the most fun shows we'd done in quite a while because it was really, really full, and the crowd was really rowdy, and the majority of them weren't there for us. They were just there because they wanted to be out, and that's where they happened to be. And we grabbed the attention of about 100 people there that would have never seen us before, and held it for a full, 45 minutes. We did a anniversary of our first album that we put out as Legacy of Supremacy. And that was fun to do, but it was so fun to grab the attention of these people who I didn't know a single one of them, but they loved it and they stayed. So,
That's what it's
yeah.
about.
And you got some crowd surfers and you got some crazy people and security trying to drag someone out, and you go, yeah, that's a rock and roll story. That's the ones that you want.
Um, what was it? So, I forgot what my next question was going to be now. You were so enthralling with that one. So with the sound of the new album, it's very different to your older stuff. Uh,
Yes.
who produced it? Or are
So
you,
I produced it.
oh, you're
So,
producing?
yeah, produced, recorded, mixed, well, not mastered, I mixed it. Simon Struthers from Forensic Audio mastered it. So this sound is, yeah, it's a little bit darker. There's a fair amount of synth and piano in it because Curtis has adopted playing the synth live. So originally it was just that's nice to have. We'll put a bit of that on. But the joke is he's become Eddie Van Halen. We're in the Jump era. And he's got his synth out now, and he's really taken to it. Some great sounds there, but he's still playing his guitar as well. And I think that's grabbed a really cool direction. All the guys in the band are singing really well at the moment as well. And because of that, we've been able to get away with writing some really big kind of Def Leppard Queenish style vocal hooks, and the guys have really worked hard to make sure that they deliver them live. And yeah, I think all of those things have kind of added up to make it quite a new and unique sound for us, and I really enjoyed that process.
When we listen back to the early Legacy of Supremacy stuff, I think your voice itself has changed quite a bit. Is it something that you've worked on specifically, or is it just matured with time?
I think it's generally matured in time. My range has gone up, but I also experimented quite a bit in Existential, the EP that we put out, which was the first one under Legacy Alive. And I was really going for that Miles Kennedy, trying to do the really high stuff. And I enjoyed it. I found it really hard to deliver live. So I kind of said, oh, I need to not stay in my pay grade, but just use that a little bit in moderation. So I've kind of found a different space to sing where I get to do a bit of that and I get to do a bit of what I used to do. My voice has definitely matured as I've gotten older. I'm trying to get my vibrato under control. I don't know if that's worked. Might get better. Who knows?
Anyway, so you're not giving us the release date of the album, are you? Because you're not quite sure yet, but
No, but I imagine it will be February. So I'd like to see late January, early February. It'll be so that's when the Fringe Festival is in 2025, and we're trying to pitch a show for that. And if that will come off, that's when we'll release it. If we can't get that to come off, we'll probably still release it around a similar time. But yeah, I imagine that's probably, yeah, I'm shooting for that early next year. There's no reason why we shouldn't do that. As soon as I finish Perth Rocks, I'll pop that one on the done pile and go back in and finish mixing this off.
but in the meantime, we can pick up all your stuff on the usual channels: Spotify, iTunes, Amazon.
Absolutely. It's distributed everywhere. So, however you like to consume your music, you'll be able to find Legacy Alive. Even Tidal, which I hear is a higher quality streaming platform. If you like your highest quality streaming, not compressed MP3 stuff, um, Bandcamp, you name it. If you can find music on it, you'll find us there. So,
And can you still buy physical copies, or is it all just online these days?
I've got a couple of physical copies of The Morning After still. There's no physical copies of Existential, and the singles that we've put out so far, there's no physical copies, but there will be a physical copy in vinyl print for the next album, or this upcoming album.
That was going to be my next question. Can we get a vinyl?
Yeah, yeah, and that'll come with a downloadable, high quality digital file as well.
All right, make sure you put one aside for me, by the way.
Absolutely, yeah. Don't worry, I'll have your name on it.
Yeah. I mean, on that note, I mean, what's your take on the way music is these days with all streaming platforms and very little physical copies, and now obviously vinyl's well outselling CDs for the first time since
Yeah,
the 90s.
it's a funny time for music. I was saying this to somebody the other night, and I'm pretty sure it was Adele. Took a screenshot of it on my phone when I read this, and it was around the time where Spotify decided they weren't actually going to pay any money to someone who had less than 1,000 streams of a particular song. And the answer was that musicians need to improve their marketing if they expect to make money. And yeah, I'm fairly sure it was an Adele quote. She was just like, "Well, I got into music to make music, not to be in marketing. Otherwise, I would have gone into marketing." And that is something that I think has been a real negative about streaming, or say culture, but streaming environment for music. It's because it's so saturated now. There's so much music out there. If you want to try to break through, you have to be an expert in marketing. And I find that quite soul destroying. I don't like to be in marketing. I like to play my guitar and I like to sing. So I'm sure I could hire a marketing person, but then I'm sure they'll make more money than the band does. So yeah, I find that that's tough. But on the flip side, it's never been easier to access music. And I think that's a good thing for emerging artists because I remember growing up and in the CD era where somebody would have a physical copy of something, an album that came out, and you really, really wanted to hear it, and they could like burn you a copy, and they almost became a little bit like trading cards. You know, you could go and get compilation CDs of things, and you had to be a little bit more savvy to seek out your music, and you did it in your communities, right? Hey, I saw this band, I bought this CD, they were really good. I'll make you a copy. Oh, cool. Then you had to go and associate. And I used to have listening parties with my friends to grab all my favorite music. And now it's just here's a link. It's so straightforward. You don't have to go out of your way to do much at all. But I don't know, maybe some of the magic's lost there, but also it's so convenient. So
Do you think it's been a positive or a negative for the live scene?
um I don't think it's affected the live scene massively. I think streaming has. I wonder if streaming's affected radio more than anything because now you don't have to listen to the radio and hope to hear your favorite song. You can just click on Spotify radio and have a preset playlist that's exactly what you want to hear anyway, without any of the ads, if you pay for it. But I think the live scene has had its challenges, but for different reasons. I think coming out of COVID, we're so different in the way that we interact with each other, and maybe a little bit apprehensive. Inflation, oh yeah, I can go and talk about all of those wonderful things too. People don't want to go out and spend money, but the one that came up a lot talking to my dad was about pub culture. Australia's got a rich history of pub culture, and people would go to the pub, and that's where they would socialize, that's where they would vent, that's where they would decompress, and that's where you'd see music. I don't think that the current generations that are kind of in the teens to 20s do that quite as much. They like to meet each other online. They like to catch up and hang out online, so they don't go to the pubs. So they're not seeing live music, not even incidentally. And I think that is what's hurting the live music culture. Unless there's a big event, somebody's grabbed wind of something and then the event exists and then people will go to it. But even then, the number of festivals that have been falling off the perch lately is quite telling. So
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I always like to think that the live music scene here in Perth is actually quite vibrant.
it is.
We don't get the
Yeah.
big touring bands over here.
Yeah. I mean, it's very vibrant. I think if you go to something like Perth Rocks, if you just go and see any band that's in that kind of little community, whether it be the rock community, you go and see Electric State, Amber Down, whatever. You're in the metal community, you go see Silent Night or something like that. Then you've got a bunch of people who go and they see that music, and the people who play in those bands go and see each other a lot. And I think it's a beautiful, vibrant community. But grab your somebody who just plays, you know, golf on the weekends, really, really hard to try to get them to want to come out and check it out. And for me, that's the demographic that I want. I want the people who aren't in bands. I want people who just have no idea. My favorite experience is when I tell someone I'm in a band and then they kind of go, oh, yeah, yeah, sure, whatever. And eventually I drag them along to a gig or convince them to come to a gig and then they see it and they go, oh, you're in like a real band. Like you're really good. And I was like, yes. And it's like, but like, you really do it. Like you take it really seriously. Like, yes. What did you expect? All of us do. We all do. And those moments are great. But how do I get those moments with the general public? Don't know. Trying put on more festivals, maybe.
Yeah. All right, we need one every weekend.
Dib's not organising one every weekend. Once a year, I think.
All right. So we'll see you on stage. What time did you say? 5
Yeah, 10 past 5.
past 5, 5:10. All right,
Yeah,
on Monday.
outside.
Okay, tickets on OzTix.
Absolutely. Yep, you can get them, and there's merch available, and you can come in at 5:10, but I encourage you to come in at 12:30 and just spend the day. It's going to be a beautiful sunny day. There's going to be great bands all day. You don't have to stand on your feet all day either. There's plenty of places to sit down and chill out, and you go and jump up and down. You can relax. If you want to watch a band, you can go up into the mezzanine and just chill out there as well. The options there are endless, and it won't rain, so you can be there all day.
It's a beautiful venue for anyone who hasn't been. It's absolutely a lovely place to see bands.
Yes, for sure. And we've got a couple of tricks that we've set up for the production, so hopefully it looks good.
Fantastic. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure you are.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll see you on Sunday, and yeah, it's going to be a great day. Thanks a
Yeah,
lot,
it
Jack.
will. Thank you so much for chatting with me about it, and I'll see you on the weekend.
See you then. Have a good one. Take care.